8.3, graphing the reciprocal function. Let's go to this worksheet. So they want me to identify the asymptotes and domain and range of each function. So the asymptotes, horizontal one you kind of see right here, right? It's at y equals 0. That's how, if you look at the graph, you kind of see it's at y equals horizontal asymptote, y equals 0. The vertical asymptote you can see right here. So that'd be horizontal. The vertical asymptote would be at x equals -4. Now that's the way you do look at the graph. If you look at the equation, the vertical asymptote is the denominator equal to 0. So you go x plus 4 equals 0. So you get x equals -4, just like we got. And the horizontal asymptote would be the vertical shift, which I don't have one here, so it's 0. So there's my horizontal and vertical asymptote. So you can look at the graph, or you can look at the equation. The equation is probably a little easier, actually. Now domain and range, very simple. Domain, you're going from -infinity to -4, -4 to infinity. Right? Basically doing everything except for the vertical asymptote. So if you want, instead of writing all this, you can just say domain is x kind of equal -4. Right? It basically just can't be the vertical asymptote. Horizontal range is the same similar idea. For the range, you could say you're going from -infinity to 0, and then 0 to infinity. Or you could just be like, wait, the only thing you can't hit is the horizontal asymptote. So the only thing you can do is y cannot equal 0. And there you go. So let's do the same thing here. So on this one, I'm going to do a little faster. So my horizontal asymptote, well, remember horizontal asymptote is the vertical stretch. So 5. So we're at the 5. And you double check right here. Look at the graph. It's about at 5. So y equals 5. The vertical asymptote, you set the denominator equal to 0. So x minus 1 equals 0. X equals 1. Double check. Can you not cross that one? That's what it looks like. It's a funky graph, but it looks like that 1 makes sense. How about domain range? Well, domain, easiest way, you just can't be the vertical asymptote. So x cannot equal 1. And the range, you just can't be the horizontal asymptote. You just can't be 5. And there you go. Identify the asymptotes. So remember the horizontal is just the vertical shift, so -1. The vertical is at the bottom equal to 0, so subtract 7, so -7. Over here, vertical shift, I don't see one, so it's like plus 0, so that'd be 0. Vertical asymptote is at the bottom equal to 0, so x equals -3. Right, here again, I don't see anything there, so plus 0. Vertical is at the bottom equal to 0, well, you just get 0 again. Right, so vertical asymptote is 0. Horizontal asymptote is 0, vertical asymptote is 0. So now we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to graph it. So look at this first one. It's like the one we just did. What's the horizontal asymptote? Well, no vertical shift, so 0. Y equals 0. What's the vertical asymptote? So the bottom equals 0. You just get 0. So I'm going to graph those first. Now look at the top numbers to 3. So again, we're just doing a sketch here. So it's going to be the positive right-hand side. If I want to do a more accurate graph, I would type in numbers. So like if you plug in 3 over 3 is 1. So I should actually be hitting right there. And then you could plug in, I don't know, 1 over 3 or 1, and you get 3. So it should be hitting right there, and then kind of curve around that. So again, if you want more accurate numbers, plug in some numbers, and you can get a nice graph. My domain, remember domain is everything except for the vertical asymptote. Remember domain is x, so that's why it goes with the vertical asymptote, which is an x. So you just can't be 0. The range is y, so that's why it has to do with the horizontal asymptote. You just can't be the horizontal asymptote. Y is not equal to 0. Next one. My horizontal asymptote, there's still nothing on the outside, so it's 0. My vertical asymptote, I did this to the bottom equal to 0. Subtract 2, x equals -2. So again, when I graph these, I always do the asymptotes first. So -2, y equals 0. Now this top here is -4. So that means it's on the bottom left. The bottom right, sorry. Right, positive starts on top, negative starts on the bottom. It's a reciprocal function, so if you start on the bottom, that means on the top left on the other one. Again, we're just doing a sketch. If you want a little more accurate graph, you could type in you could make a table of numbers. For now, we're just doing a sketch. Once you understand what the graph looks like, because anytime you want to make a more accurate graph, it's not hard. You just make a table of values. Anyway, my domain. Remember, domain is the x value, so it has to do with the vertical asymptote. So you just say it can't be -2, which makes sense, right? Because that -2 is a vertical asymptote. The range has to do with the y values, so it has to do with the horizontal asymptote. So you just say y cannot equal 0. Next one. Horizontal, we actually have one this time. It's 3. Vertical asymptote, so the bottom equal to 0, so 0. I would like to graph those first. Y equals 3. There we go. Right, and now it's a +2, so we're going to top right. That's a bad graph. And then we're going to the bottom left. So you just want to hug the corners. You're not going to go past them. So into that effect, my domain has to do with the x value, so x cannot equal 0. My range has to do with the y value, so y cannot equal 3. And there we go. Doing some more. So this one, again, +0, so no horizontal asymptote. Vertical asymptote, so the bottom equals 0, you just get 6. Let's graph those first. There's 6. Here is 0. It's a +2 on top, so it's going to be up here. Again, I'm just doing a sketch. Like that. And then a positive the flip. So into that effect. Again, just a sketch. If I want it more accurate, I'll make a table of values. Domain has to go with the x values, so x cannot equal 6. Range has to do with the y values, so range is y cannot equal 0. You can look at it, right? There's no graph at 6, there's no graph at 0. The one right here, horizontal asymptote, -8, right? So let's look at your vertical shift. Vertical asymptote, the denominators cannot equal 0, so 7. X minus 7 equals 0, so 7. I am off the grid here, so I'm going to be over here and up here. Oh, -8 down here. Let's say this is -8. A little off the grid. The top number is a 3, so it should be up here. So something to this effect. And that makes me I'll be down here. Sorry, the graph is not on the actual graph. Domain has to be x, so x cannot equal 7. So I'll put the domain up here. X cannot equal 7. And then my range, I'll just put it right here also. Y cannot equal -8. Again, look at the graph, right? No y value at -8, no x value at 7. Again, sorry about the graph being so off. Next one, like last two. Horizontal asymptote, vertical shift. So -2. Vertical asymptote at the bottom, x equals -4. So let's plot that. X equals -4 and y equals -2. Something like that. It's a -x on top. So again, if we're just doing a sketch, that means it's on the bottom right. Negatives on the bottom right. It's like a vertical flip. So it's doing a sketch here. And then since it's down here, it's going to be up here. Top left. Bottom right, top left. My domain, remember domain has to do with the x, so x cannot equal -4. My range is y cannot equal -2. Right, so look at -2 on my y and x -4 on my x are not value, have no value. Next one here, last of the graphing. 8 over x plus 3, so plus 0. So that makes my horizontal slope just 0. And my vertical slope at the bottom equals 0. X equals -3. Let's plot it. X equals -3. Y equals 0. My A is positive, so it's top right. Again, just doing a quick sketch. And bottom left. Like that. Domain, x cannot be -3, and my range is y cannot equal 0. Right. Okay, last one. Write a reciprocal function with which the graph has a vertical asymptote at x equals -4 and horizontal asymptote at f of x equals 6. So remember when we write one of these, we're kind of doing this. And all they're telling us is that the vertical asymptote is -4. So that means that down here, right, my vertical asymptote has to be -4. So this at the bottom So what makes a vertical axis of -4? If this was x plus 4, right? Then to the bottom equal to 0, you get -4. Inside opposite type of thing. How do you get a horizontal slope of 6? Well, that's just a vertical shift, so make that 6. And the a could be anything you want. I'll put 4. So I have x plus 4 plus 6. I guess that's a little confusing. I'm not going to put 4, I'll put 2. There you go, right? A could be anything you want, but this has to make a vertical slope of -4. This has to make a horizontal slope of 6. And there you go.